Hi guys, it's X. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about taking care of inmates. And I'm not talking about in the jail or in the prison system. I'm talking about taking care of inmates when they come to your hospital. I have a little tips for you and just things to consider when you are taking care of these people. So if you'd like to watch my video, just keep on watching. But before you swipe me away or click me out of this video, please like, comment, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Okay, so I think about every job that I've had to sign like an affidavit or something stating that it's gonna be in my job description to take care of inmates sometimes. And I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it basically was saying that I can't discriminate or can't judge them and I have to provide the best care, which I absolutely agree upon. Despite your feelings about criminals, it is ultimately important that you provide these people the best care that you can. And actually, I've never had an issue with an inmate. I've actually enjoyed taking care of them because they actually sometimes are the sweetest people I've ever met, surprisingly, shockingly. And I feel like they sometimes don't get the treatment that they should because they don't always, there's always like the stigma that, oh, they're here for seizures. They just want to come to the hospital, take a break and eat a sandwich and not have to deal with the day-to-day life in the prison. And I don't always think that's true. And I think it's unfortunate that some healthcare providers think that way about inmates and stuff like that. So one thing that you have to understand is that not everybody that you take care of that is an inmate is convicted. Some of these people have not had their trial yet. They're waiting trial. So you don't even know if they're guilty or not guilty. And that was something that one of our chaplains had mentioned to me. I remember I was in a rapid response. I was not an ICU nurse at this point. I was working on like a tele unit. And this patient was there for seizures. And when I walk by, this patient's actively seizing and they are gushing, just gushing blood out of their nose. And I remember one of the doctors was like, oh, he's faking it. And I'm like, how can this person be faking the seizure when they are gushing blood out of their nose? Please explain that to me. I understand pretending to have a seizure, but who the hell knows how to make their nose bleed on command? Like who? And I remember the chaplain overheard this physician and was very upset. And he is the one that actually educated me on the process because I had no idea. I've never been to prison. I don't really know anyone who's been to jail or prison, so I don't know how this works. And he was the one that told me like not everybody that is in jail is convicted. And I actually did have an inmate who was talking to me and they were telling me how, oh, if I end up getting out, like, I'm gonna do this and this with my life. And I was like, what do you mean if you end up getting out? Like, don't you know? And he was like, no, I haven't gone to trial yet. And I was like, oh, well, what do you mean? Like, how are you in jail? Like, I was so confused because I didn't know how it worked. And he's like, yeah, I'm waiting trial, but I've been in jail for like 4 years. And I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy to me. That is a long time to be in jail and like not know your outcome. So anyway, just some tips. And it's so funny to me because where I work at then and like where I work at now is a little bit more the mentality of just the neighborhoods is so funny to me because where I used to work, you could never leave scissors, never leave anything sharp in a room. Doesn't matter if they're an inmate or not. Like you just don't do that. So when I come into work and I see like scissors from like suture removal kits laying around, like I'm like, who did this? Who left this here? I could get stabbed. Like, but it's like not the mentality of the nurses that I work with now have. But anyway, every time that you work with an inmate, there's always a police officer. Depending on the facility, there's either 1 or 2 police officers in the room. The inmate is always handcuffed to the bed. Even if they're intubated and sedated, I've always seen inmates have either their foot, it's usually their foot, handcuffed to the bed or their hand handcuffed to the bed. I asked just because I see it as a form of a restraint. If I had to chart on it, if I had to check the skin on it, and they were like, check the skin, but you don't personally chart on the handcuff as a restraint like you would a normal nursing patient who's like restrained on a ventilator. So always watch your back. And I think that's with every patient. Like, just because they're an inmate and they're in jail, like, doesn't mean that I'm gonna think like they're trying to hurt me, or any patient for that matter can hurt you. But I just have your guard up. Never turn your back to them, but always treat them with respect. Always treat them like a person. I still call them sweetie. I still say hello, and I still talk to them, ask them how their day is. Like, what my mentality is that beyond these four walls of this hospital is none of my business. Whatever you did to get yourself in jail or prison is none of my business. My business is to get you the best care that you can, get you healthy, and get you back home, wherever that may be. And I think it's sad that a lot of nurses don't have that mentality or can't separate the fact of what they're in. If it bothers you that much, don't ask. I never ask. I don't ever ask an inmate why they're here. I never ask the police officers what are they in for. If they are willing to tell me why they came in, then, you know, that is fine. I will accept that. But that doesn't mean that I have the right to judge or have the right to not treat them like a human being. And I actually think that that's why I've had such great experiences with inmates, is because I still talk to them like they're a normal person. I don't judge them. I don't treat them differently. I don't act rude to them. And it's really sad because I do see it in the officers' mentality as well. There are some officers that are very nice to the inmates and are very caring towards them, and then there's other officers who can give two shits about them and they're very rude. And even I have to step up and be like, hey, this is my patient. I don't care who they are to you. I don't care what they did outside this hospital. This is my patient and I'm going to give them the best care, and you don't talk to them like that. Like, sometimes I have to step in and say things like that, which not everybody might agree with, but remember, this is my job. This is what I do, and I have to take care of everybody and give them the same care I would. I don't care, like, I hate when people think, oh, I'm a friend of the hospital, or I'm a VIP, or I'm a celebrity. Like, I don't care who you are. I'm treating you the same no matter what. Like, that is my mentality. And I don't see why anyone thinks they should or deserve better care than anybody else. So in my experiences, I love working with the officers who are nice, who do care. You know, I remember one time I had a patient who was seizing. That seems to be a common thing for why inmates come to the hospital. And the doctor was like, discharge them. And I'm like, no, I'm not discharging them. I just saw them seize. It's fake. It's not fake. I'm like fighting with this doctor because I'm like, I can tell a real seizure from a fake seizure, and I really don't believe that this is a fake seizure. And the doctor kind of gave me an attitude and was like, I asked, like, can I order a 24-hour EEG? There's something called a post-ictal phase. I don't think many people who fake seizures understand what a post-ictal phase is, and this patient was literally napping for like 2 hours after this happened, and I don't believe that this was a fake seizure. And so the doctor gave me attitude, rolled her eyes, and like walked out and was like, fine, order the EEG. And so the doctor, I remember, was like, that effing B. And I was like, I was shocked. Like, I couldn't believe he just said that. But at the same time, I was like, wow, he cares. Like, he sees that this person is, you know, not really believing them, not really providing probably the best care because they have this consensus of, oh, they're faking it, which, you know, I was only there for the first day. I don't know what happened prior to make them think that they're faking it. I don't know what scans or what diagnostics, what workup they did to make them feel like this was fake. But if I see something, my job is to advocate for that person. My job is to do what is best for this person. Like I said, whatever you did outside these four walls of the hospital is none of my business. And I see a lot of TV shows that portray these things, and it bothers me when they make it seem like, for instance, I think I saw on, like, I don't know if it was Grey's Anatomy or The Resident, but there was basically like this, I don't know if it was a bombing or a shooting, and they were like, oh my God, we have the shooter. Like, what do we do? Are we not going to save his life? Like, no, who are you to decide that? I'm not God. I'm not a jury. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm a nurse. I am here to save lives. I am here to make sure people get the best care they could possibly get. And to see that portrayed on TV, it's like kind of heartbreaking, because I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't want them to come to the hospital and be in fear that I'm not going to do my job because I'm judging them. They still have a family. They still have friends who care about them. Like, my job is to get them better. And I would hate to, like, if I ever had a child who happened to commit a crime or falsely accused of a crime and was in the hospital, to feel like, oh my God, they're not going to get the best care, or the nurses are not going to treat them right, or the doctors, because they're an inmate. Like, that just sucks. That's just, it's not my job to, people have bad days. People lose their mind. People have psych issues. Like, it is not my job to judge. So that is kind of like what I want this video to be about. There is a photo that is very controversial. I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it is kind of what my nursing motto is, and like what I love to live by. But anyway, in this photo, I don't want to insert it here because I don't know who owns the rights to it, but it's basically these like 4 or 5, I don't know if they're all doctors or nurses, but they're African American people who are working on, like, clearly doing CPR on somebody who's dressed in a Ku Klux Klan outfit, and they are like trying their hardest to save his life. And I know that can be offensive to somebody, but what that shows me and what I interpret that photo to be is like, these people are throwing everything out of their mind. Yes, this person on the table doesn't like them. Yes, this person on the table probably wishes them dead, probably can give 2 craps about them as people in general, but they are not thinking of that. They are doing everything they can to save this person's life, because this person has a family, this person has kids, this person is somebody's lover, father, brother, son, somebody. This is somebody's everything. So in this photo is what I love to live my nursing, like, I guess, motto, is that it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, what you believe in, what you did to somebody else. It is none of my business in this hospital. Outside, I can have my own feelings and personal whatever. But when I'm in the hospital, I'm not going to mistreat you. I'm not going to not give you the best care. I'm not going to treat you differently because of that. And I feel like that is what this strong photo represents. And I love this photo because it shows me that you have to be the big person sometimes. You have to overcome your personal feelings about people. And not everybody's going to agree with you. I get it. I've been through stuff too. I've been hurt too. And I would, I don't know how I would feel if that was the person that hurt me. However, when I'm the nurse, when I'm, see these videos of, the resident or the nurses or whatever medical show you're watching, kind of interpret this. I don't want people to fear that. I don't want people to fear coming in the hospital, because at least with me, if I'm your nurse, I'm not going to treat you differently just because you have an anklet or what are they called? Handcuffs. I'm not going to treat you any differently. So if you are a nurse and you ever come across an inmate and you don't know how to feel, remember that. How would you feel if this was your family member and maybe they are innocent, but someone's treating them different? Put yourself in their shoes. How would you want to be treated? How would you want to be taken care of? Would you want to go to the hospital and be afraid to take medication because you think it's poison, or they're trying to kill you, or they're not going to do everything to save your life? Like, how would you feel? That's basically what I think of whenever I'm in the presence of an inmate and I take care of them. Like, if I was in that situation and maybe I was misjudged, like, I wouldn't want to be treated that way. So I'm going to treat them the way I would treat everybody else. So anyway, if you have any other tips for other people, or any comments or concerns or any thoughts about the matter, leave them down below. Bye.